So we will call to order the February meeting of the Delaware County Board of Library Directors. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 2020 meeting? Helen?
You're muted, Helen.
I move to approve the minutes from December 2020.
Jenny, is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I have
Motion
a
carries.
question. I had a
Yes.
question. We're approving the minutes for the December.
Yes.
Do I have the wrong agenda? Do I have the wrong? Okay, I'm sorry. My fault. I just had a question on the minutes from October that were sent to us. They say anonymous approval. What is that?
Well, that would have had to have been addressed at the December meeting.
Yeah, I don't see
And
it.
I assume that was just a typo from October.
Okay, that's
I think
fine.
It was probably unanimous, but
Yeah.
we can't go back and address October minutes. at
Okay,
this
no
meeting.
problem. When I was reading them, I was just wondering what that meant, but that's okay. No problem.
Okay, next we'll move to communications and announcements. Kathy?
Sure. The first item that I'd like to talk about is that all items in libraries are quarantined for 72 to 96 hours. Libraries will set aside returned items for 3 to 4 days before allowing them to be borrowed by the public. We just want to remind everyone that no fines will accrue during the 4-day period. Also, there's limited entry in some libraries. As each library varies in size, please check with the individual library for access to the building. As mandated by the governor, masks must be worn in all libraries. If a patron cannot wear a mask, libraries will make accommodations by offering curbside service. The final announcement is, the next to final announcement is computer use by appointment only in libraries with limited entry. Patrons are able to schedule a 40-minute appointment for computer use each day in some libraries. Please contact the library directly to make the appointment. The next item is Black History Month, and I'd like to introduce our Youth Services Coordinator for Delaware County Libraries, Sherry Crow.
Hey everyone, I have 2 initiatives that I'll be talking about. The first is our Read Woke Reading Challenge, and that's part of our Beanstack Reading Challenge that some of you may be familiar with. This is our newest challenge, and Read Woke books are books that challenge a social norm or tell the side of the oppressed, provide information about a group that has been disenfranchised. They challenge the status quo or shed light on an issue that many might not perceive as being an issue. So this challenge has 76 new registrants as today, and we actually already had 24 people complete the challenge. They've done 480 badges and 425 books have been read. So I just want to mention too that along with this challenge, our Overdrive curated book lists, Annie put together some really great lists that promote the books inside the challenge. And some of those badges and books are Asian American voices, diverse abilities, female voices, Black voices, and Latinx voices. So just hope you'll also check it out if you haven't been part of our Beanstack challenges before. They're fun, and this one has a bunch of prizes, book prizes in it. So you can
That's
also
great.
win a prize.
How do we publicize it? Or how does the library publicize this?
Through all of our social media channels, but we also sent flyers, kind of like half-page flyers to the libraries to put in to, curbside pickup packages and things like that, because that's, I know they're all promoting it on social media, but I think it's word of mouth or the flyer for, as far as I know, unless Kathy has other ways that we're promoting.
I think it's also, it's on our website, right? On our landing page of the website. So
Yes.
there, that's where I would suggest people go to find some information or as a jumping off point to learn more about the program.
Sounds great.
Was that it, Sherry?
Do you want me to tell about the Ezra Jack Keats right now?
Yeah, why don't you, while you're here?
Okay, so our Read Woke challenge is for six and up, and the other thing we have going on is the Ezra Jack Keats mock awards. So if you don't know who Ezra Jack Keats is, he's the author of Snowy Day, and it's the 35th anniversary of the award, and the award is given for new illustrators and authors of children's material who kind of talk about diverse populations and strength of family and community and the experience of childhood. So right now we have up in our story walk, we have last year's Ezra Jack Keats Award winner, which is called Layla's Happiness. So that's up in the story walk. But we also, I'm going to try to share my screen because we have something else going on for the kids. Let's see if am I sharing, Kath?
You are.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is the mock award site up on our website, and just want to show you a little bit of what's here. There's a one-page kind of judging guide that people can print out. We've also given these to our libraries. I don't want to get lost, but I'm going to try to see if I can get to it. But it explains how to be a judge. And as you can see, there are the 10 books that the kids are voting on. And this is their ballot. And they get to put stars and turn this into the library.
Aw.
And sorry, see, now this is where I want to get back, and I don't know if I can. I always have this little bar up in front of me. So there we go. So that's there for them to print out. And what I really thought was great, we bought all these books through Overdrive, and lots of people had them in print. But one of our librarians from Crozier made this interactive bookshelf here. So when you click on this, there's most of them have librarians from Delaware County Libraries reading the story. So anyone can participate if they can get online. They don't have to check the book out in print or through Overdrive. And this was really great because about 7 of our librarians kind of got together and did different ones. So I really love that. Oh, and you can click here to vote again. And we'll see if we get some votes. But anyway, that was just something we were trying, and yeah, something for kids. That's like a family, probably up to about 6th grade. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Is that an interactive website, the one you were just on, where you had the book?
Yeah, so it's I think it was just done with a Google Sheet, but when you click on there, you go to our YouTube recording.
Oh, okay, nice. That's all.
And the kids can hear whichever story. And like I said, it's all, most of them, the ones that we had copyright for, that we were allowed to read the story online, our librarians from different libraries are reading the story. It's really great. And Chrissy edited them, and I encourage you to check it out. Good stories and really well done.
Wow, that's wonderful.
So we hope we get some votes. We're waiting patiently.
So if you have little ones, encourage them to go on and to vote for their favorite stories. I know that was a lot of hard work, and thank you so much, Sherry, and thank you to the librarians from the member libraries who collaborated to help make this program a success and get it live.
It looks
Was
great.
there anything else, Sherry, that you wanted to share? Or?
Nope, that's it. Thank
That's it.
you.
Kathy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because this computer has really got me stunned. Okay, I just wanted to mention to Sherry, I do get an email from Ridley library, and they let me know everything that's going on in their library at, for that month, which I think is really good. I don't know whether the other libraries are interested in doing that to the board of directors, because it's really interesting what they're doing. And, it might be something that we might want to share, but you were saying social media, that's how you get a lot of your stuff out. So maybe, if they did it, if they emailed us or contacted us, we could by mouth or even our social media send it to people. Don't know if that's possible or not. I know our Miss Debbie from Aston is very, she's always sending stuff out.
Yes, my mom has Miss Debbie's newsletters too. So.
Yes. So I didn't know whether that was possible or not. I just thought it's nice really to do that, because it's very interesting what they're doing.
Great. I think I can mention that at my meeting. That would be a great idea.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing further, I'm going to let Sherry go. And I'm going to turn it back to Scott to continue the agenda.
Kathy, could I just, I wanted to ask a question about your earlier announcements about all masks being required in libraries. Are the libraries reporting any issues with patrons refusing to put masks on?
I have not heard of any incidents. Annie, have you?
Not particularly. I think there, might be the occasional like, oops, I forgot it kind of moment, but nothing concerning.
Okay,
right. And I know that some libraries do have masks available for patrons if they come and they don't have one. And every library is wonderful about giving sort of door-to-door service. So if you absolutely can't wear a mask, they will, traverse the aisles of the library to get you what you need and either hand it to you at the door or hand it to your car, or you lift the trunk and they'll put the items in the back and you don't even have to have any type of human contact with anyone. So it's been working out really well.
That's great. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Scott, I'm going to turn it back to you again.
Thank you, Kathy. Moving on to the financial report. Are there any comments or questions in reference to the December 2020 financial report?
I would like to interject a comment. I just want to remind everyone that Delaware County does not officially close their 2020 year-end books until February 26th. So although I have submitted a treasurer's report for December 2020, it is certainly not reflective of what the year-end report is going to be.
So in February, we will get two, then one for February and one for a final December, or?
So April?
Oh,
so in April, yeah.
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 April, yeah, sorry. Okay.
Yep.
Is there a motion then to approve with, in light of Kathy's comments, the December 2020 financial report?
I make a motion to approve the financial report for December 2020.
I second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the administrator's report. Kathy?
Okay, the first item is public notification of the meetings. The Pennsylvania Sunshine Act requires agencies to deliberate and take official action on agency business in an open and public meeting. It requires that meetings have prior notice. So public notice was advertised in the Delaware County Daily Times on January 20th, 2021. And in your packet, there was proof of the notification going into the Daily Times, and our meetings are also posted on the library website. So Delaware County Libraries is in compliance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. The next item is the Pennsylvania state aid. Delaware County Libraries receives a little over $2 million in state aid grants from the Pennsylvania Department of Education, Office of Commonwealth Libraries. $1.5 million of that aid is directly distributed to local public libraries. Checks in the amount of 5/12 of that aid were issued and mailed to libraries on January 22nd. The remaining 7/12 will be distributed as soon as it's received from the state. Are there any questions on that?
When do you anticipate receiving the remainder?
Annie would know that as the district consultant.
The state is reviewing the plans for state aid that were submitted by the libraries in January, and they anticipate that it will be sometime this month in February, but they haven't given us a date yet.
Okay.
And the two distributions was because of the two budgets that they passed, the stopgap and then the second. So it's a little different than normal years.
Do we have any reason to believe we wouldn't get the full remaining 7/12?
No, because they had passed the budget and they had agreed to level fund libraries. So we will get the remaining 7/12. It's just right now, it's just an administrative act that needs to take place of somebody cutting the checks.
Good.
Okay, if there's no more questions or comments, I'm going to move on. The Pennsylvania State Annual Report is due to our office on March 12th. Each year, all public libraries that receive aid from the state of Pennsylvania are required to complete an annual report. This report consists of statistics, revenues, and expenses from the prior calendar year. This report is due to be completed and all supporting documentation submitted to Delaware County Library Headquarters by March 12th. Are there any questions or comments on that item? Okay, and I think that's where the agenda ended for that, but I do have one additional item that came up between the time that I sent out the original agenda and now. So I'd like to add that if that's okay with you. The addition is under the Pennsylvania Code 22, Section 141.22. Each district library center is required to have a 5-year plan for the development and provision of district services and resources developed with input from local libraries and trustees. Delaware County is a district within the state of Pennsylvania, so that would apply to us. DCL's previous strategic plan expired in 2020, and the goal of the plan is to develop an overarching strategy for sustainable growth, update the vision, mission, and values of our agency, identify priority areas for development and developing key goals with strategies and tactics, and to create metrics and measurable outcomes for each goal. So we have requested to be placed on the February 16th County Council agenda meeting to seek permission to advertise for requests for proposals for an outside consultant to help us complete the plan. So we wanted the board of trustees to be aware of this, because after this goes to public notification and we seek these RFPs, we're going to need the input from this board on the selection of the consultants. So I didn't know if you wanted to do that as a whole, or if you guys wanted to form a subcommittee within this board to select the consultants. So I'm kind of throwing it out to you. Thoughts?
Well, my thought, Kathy, would be that we do it as a whole. It's not like the board is that large. So my thought would be to let the entire board participate in that. That would be my thought.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea.
Now, would we have an opportunity to review assuming we get county council approval, would we have a chance to review the RFP?
Sure. Once they get approval, once I get approval to advertise, I work with the purchasing department to come up with an RFP that can be publicized. And at that point, when that's completed, I can certainly send that to you to look over. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room with the legality of the way they post an RFP. The only thing that might change is the content of what we're seeking, but pretty much what we're seeking is what I just read to you.
Okay.
We're not dictating to the consultants because it's just a strategic plan, and we don't know what we don't know at this point, and we don't know what we need. So I could certainly send you the document that I'm going to submit to county council if you're interested in
Yeah, I
reading
would be
that.
interested.
Sure, sure.
Do you have
You
a,
find that you might have a problem getting the approval from county council?
I
you
do not
anticipate-
think so, because I had budgeted this in the budget last year as a capital expense.
Mhm.
And I believe county council approved the budget for the year.
Right.
So I don't foresee them having a problem with us going out to advertise for the RFP. Now, when it comes to them approving the selection of the consultants, that is a different story. You have to justify
The money, right?
right, the money and how you're spending the taxpayer dollars and what thought went into the selection process and things like that. But if you make a reasonable argument, they're very supportive of what library services wants to do.
And is the current plan on the website, or is that something, or the prior strategic plan, is that something you could circulate to us?
I most certainly can. The last time it was officially done by a consultant was in 2006.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's just been updated internally since then. So it's time to get some professional support to get direction on library services in Delaware County.
I think Helen had a question.
that was my question that Jenny asked you.
Yep, I can certainly, I'll send you the RFP, which I have to give due credit. Annie did it. She wrote it up. So yay, Annie. And I will send you a copy of the existing strategic plan, which actually expired in December 31st, 2020. So I will get those two items out to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
There's no further action by this board on that agenda item. Is that correct, Kathy?
That is correct.
Thank you. Moving on to committee reports, Kathy.
Yeah, we have guests here today, and the first person that I am going to introduce is Jennifer Coons, and she is the reference librarian for the Marple Public Library. She is co-chair.
Head of circulation.
I'm sorry, head of circulation from Marple Library, and she's co-chair of the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. And she is here along with her co-chair, who I'm going to let her introduce, to talk a little bit about what the EDI committee has been doing in Delaware County and some of the initiatives. So welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, I'm here with Lee Stu, who is the young adult librarian at one of the Upper Darby libraries. I'm sorry, Lee, I can't remember which one it is, but
Sellers Memorial Branch.
okay, great, thanks. The past two meetings that we've had for the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee have been focused on sort of clarifying our goals or our vision as a committee. And one of the ways we are going about this is we thought of several ways. Two of our members, Netta Williams and Jean Kosha, created a survey to send out to Delaware County Library staff. And the survey was disseminated. I think we had like 3 or 4 different pushes to get it out. And our last one was maybe a couple weeks ago. And we did mostly electronically through staff emails and also via individual library directors, letting their staff know. We got back about 122, something like that, 125 responses, which was awesome. And we talked about those responses in a broad way today. Sorry, that's the dog. So Netta gave us sort of an overview on, sort of a broad idea of the kind of responses we were getting and try to coalesce them into three sort of major themes. And one of them was, what is the purpose of the EDI committee? So that was important for us to know that. Also that there's some folks in our community, in our libraries who don't really feel comfortable bringing their whole selves to work. And they also wanted to know about possible volunteer, like how could they volunteer or be part of our committee? Actually, I don't know if it was actually being part of our committee, but it was more like volunteering for the cause, so to speak. And so moving forward with that, all of the committee members are going to take a look. We're going to read through all of these survey results, and we're going to meet back in 2 weeks on the 18th, and sort of we're going to go over the data. We're going to try to create a summary, maybe something like a visual summary, and then send it out to the county. So that was one way we're wanting to sort of streamline and clarify our goals. And the next way is we have a book club, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee book club, or it's not just for our members, it's for any staff member or I believe board member in the county library system who wants to attend. Anyone is welcome. And so it's sort of an exercise in inhabiting different perspectives that, like for me, that I would not have any idea about. So through fiction, nonfiction, and we just met a couple of weeks ago. No, it was a month ago, right? It was January 19th. We had one of our book club meetings. And the most challenging thing with the book club is really there's so many fantastic titles out there. So it's narrowing it down to, titles that we're going to read this year. And so we meet quarterly. And I guess our next, so what we're working on now is getting a more concrete schedule for the year. So like dates and times and titles all set. So that was that. And then I think Sherry talked about Read Woke, which was another way of kind of putting out their diverse perspectives more in the electronic and the digital downloads and online reading challenges. So, and then we talked about getting some strategic plan help or consultation. And we are waiting on looking at, the county is going to be hiring a diversity officer soon. So we're going to wait on that and see if we can, Annie and Kathy were talking about reaching out to that person once they're hired and are settled, and see if we can maybe work with them I guess specifically again in terms of clarifying our goals, because the subject matter of our committee is far-reaching, and there's a lot to talk about and a lot that we might want to look at and tackle and address. And so really sort of, again, being more streamlined and focused and as we move forward is something that we're looking at. And the other thing we're looking at is education and training for our committee members, and also reaching out to other Delaware County Library staff members. So, and we were thinking of, and this is that we sort of discussed this for the first time at today's meeting. So I'm sort of giving you the nascent, ideas that came out of it. It would be organized a little bit like a book club. So it would be a group viewing, probably of a recording of a webinar or continuing education training, and then discussing it afterwards. And with the idea of how do we take this back to our libraries? How do we take these trainings and these ideas back to our libraries and put them into practice? So this is what we're up to now. If anyone has any questions, thanks for letting me talk. Dealing with my barking dog in the background.
Hi, Jennifer. Oh, now I'm forgetting my question. Oh, do the other counties, Pennsylvania counties, library systems, do they have similar committees? Do you know, or would they be a source of assistance?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're muted, Kathy.
To say, I can interject, the Pennsylvania Library Association has formed a committee, and that would apply throughout the state. That would be a support outlet for all libraries. So I do know that they have formed one. The American Library Association actually does a lot of work in this area. And but I'm not certain about the neighboring counties or anything like that. That is an interesting question, and that's something that I could certainly find out and bring back to our EDI committee.
The Office of Commonwealth Libraries has also recently started a committee. So I think we'll be seeing more things come out of OCL as well. That might be resources.
What is that called, Annie?
Office of Commonwealth Libraries. So the state agency that we're sort of all under.
Okay.
I think a consultant might end up being helpful. I just think based on my own past experience, for a committee of this kind to take feedback from staff talking about not being able to bring their full selves to work. I mean, that's a really challenging issue for a committee to tackle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think it sounds difficult.
Yeah, it's really information. It's not even that we're necessarily tackling anything at this point. It's just like getting information and looking at it, you know, and helping it inform us, maybe not in a direct way, but in more of a, this seems to be going on. So it's not like all of the survey respondents were anonymous. So it's not even like we're going to be looking at someone particular and trying to help them out. It's more like, what's an overall view we're getting of how comfortable people are feeling. We feel like it's important to start where, like in our organizations, before we go out into the community and look at how we are addressing, how inclusive are we, even if we don't realize it, what are we missing? What are maybe some unconscious biases that we have? Yeah.
Are there any other questions for Jennifer or Lee before we let them go?
What's the next quarterly book?
We don't know yet.
yet.
We're going to know in a week. We gave ourselves a timeline that we're going to give suggestions, and I think it's the 12th, right? This a week from tomorrow that we're going to decide on what the book is.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. Thank you for letting me share on this.
Thank you both for
Thank you.
Thank
working
you.
on this committee.
Thank you.
It's important.
Okay, I'm going to turn it back to you, Scott.
Kathy, moving on to new business, election of officers. Karen, I understand you have a slate of officers that you would like to introduce.
Yes, for the 2021 officers, I'd like to nominate Marianne Bullen for president, Helen McCrane for vice president, Jenny Schulbank for secretary, and Inder Baines for treasurer.
Helen, would you like to make a motion to approve that slate of officers?
I make a motion to approve the slate of officers that Karen just read.
Jenny, a second.
I second.
Are there any other nominations for any of the offices on the Board of Library Directors? Hearing none, motion for approval of the slate of officers as introduced by Karen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations to all of the officers, and Mary Ann, as the newly elected president, I will turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Scott.
for your service in 2020.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I appreciate all that you have done for the library and our meetings, and glad we got to see you this time.
Yes, thank you.
But we'll be in touch. So I guess we're moving on to old business. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So old business, Kathy, is there a CARES update? I think we have,
There is, and I am going to turn the floor over to Annie.
Yes. So DCL had 3 separate CARES Act funding programs. The first, we received $100,000 from Delaware County to support ebook and audiobook purchases for our Overdrive Libby collection to meet the added demand that we saw during 2020. We were required to expend those funds by the end of the calendar year, which we did. And they were used to purchase, those funds were used to purchase new titles, add additional copies of high demand titles to make the holds go faster, and to purchase titles to support school curriculum and homeschooling efforts. The second funding program was $500,000 that we received also from Delaware County, and this was to support a number of initiatives. Again, these funds were required to be expended by the end of the calendar year, which we were able to achieve. There were several projects, so I'll just run through them. The first, we did a reimbursement of juvenile fines to member libraries, and this allowed the library records of 4,949 juveniles to be cleared of fines and fees and reinstated their borrowing privileges to reopen access for them to the libraries at a time when they didn't have direct access to their school libraries. So it was a really important project. We also purchased 100 hotspots to circulate. They began to be available right around Thanksgiving, and they are checked out for 3 weeks, and there is no charge. You can place them on hold by going to our catalog online or by calling your library, and we can help you out. They'll deliver it to your local library, and you can have the internet with you wherever you go. We purchased outdoor seating for libraries. Obviously, right now they're not in high demand, but tables and chairs for libraries that were interested and had space for those. Those were delivered in the fall and already were in use. I think we showed a picture last time. We purchased these great new Delco Strong library cards. I guess it's backwards showing up, but this goes with the Delco Strong theme that County Council has used. So we had such a demand for new library cards that we purchased those. We were able to purchase the Hoopla service, which is no holds, ebooks, comics, audiobooks, music, movies, and TV. This has been a service that our libraries were really interested in offering over the last few years. So this funding allowed us to do that. We also provided PPE for our member libraries, including gloves, sanitizing spray, paper towels, masks, hand sanitizer, and free standing hand sanitizer dispensers. And all of those things were distributed to libraries in January. And then we also are providing Wi-Fi extenders for outdoor Wi-Fi at libraries that did not already have that capability. And those, the pieces of equipment required have all been received, and now our IT folks are working with the individual libraries for getting those set up. So that will be happening in the coming weeks. And last but not least, we had a comprehensive marketing campaign to get out the word about all of these great things that we are doing. So we provided each library with a huge banner that they could put up. We had this bookmark to talk about our hot spots and the free Wi-Fi and ebooks that could be placed in the contactless pickup bags. We did social media ads, and then we also had 8 bus shelter ads around the county and 2 billboards. So I'm going to ask Jason to show us the billboards real quickly.
All right, hi everyone. Here are some pictures and videos from the Delaware County Library's billboards, which ran from December 7th to January 3rd. The first billboard you see here was located on Westchester Pike near the intersection of Township Line Road. Here we're promoting Wi-Fi and mobile hotspots being available at all of our libraries. The second billboard is an electronic billboard located on southbound I-95 around the intersection with Route 322. Here's where we're promoting the new Hoopla service available to all Delaware County patrons. And now it's back to the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Marianne, we couldn't see it, but the folks watching the stream could see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
So
showed up in the beginning.
Yep. So that was our marketing program. And that covers all of that $500,000 from the county. And the last funding stream is $45,392.42 to be exact. That is from the Institute of Museum and Library Services, a federal agency via the Office of Commonwealth Libraries. So obviously our state agency. This funding is being allocated to each library in Delaware County Libraries with a formula that was approved by a majority of our member library directors. The formula takes into account each service area population and economic distress factors in each of those service areas, which was a requirement of Office of Commonwealth Libraries. The funds are going to be available on a reimbursement basis and can be used for 2 very specific objectives provided by IMLS, creating a safer library environment and equipment or services that expand digital inclusion. The grant period extends actually through September 1st of this year. And we want to thank Marple Library. They are going to be the fiscal agent for this, so they will receive the funds and distribute it out for our member libraries. So that is in process.
I have a question.
Sure.
So now that we got this money from County Council, Delaware County, and do we ever at the meeting show them what we've spent our money on, like your cards and your bookmarkers, and do they know that all this has come about, the billboards, the posters? Do they know that, or is it just
Kathy, I'm going to ask you to answer
well,
that.
They had to approve all of our purchases.
Right.
So I'm assuming that they looked over everything that we submitted, and they are aware.
I just thought by promoting that might give us a little headway with County Council.
They've been really supportive of library services, and every time that I show up to a meeting to ask for something, Kevin Madden especially has been very kind and generous, talking up the libraries, and he says that having your library card is the best deal going in Delaware County. So shout out to him for his support and advocacy.
I mean, just to let people know that this is what the county's doing for our libraries, just a promotion type thing. I don't know whether they run them live stream. I think they do they do run the County Council meetings live stream. Just to get it out there, show people what we're really doing. I mean, some people don't realize what, the library's all about.
That's why we have you guys on the board to advocate everything that we're doing and all the wonderful things that we do here. So feel free to share with everybody all the stuff that goes on here.
Do we have any feel yet for whether the hotspots are popular?
Yes. So yes. I asked Kristen, our technical services guru, to let me know about the circulation. And I think as of Monday, there had been 76 checkouts, so in about 2 months. But I know actually yesterday, 11 of them left the office at one time. So I think that word is getting out, certainly. And we have taken calls about them. So they are starting to really pick up.
Kristen just messaged and she said that 11 went out on Wednesday, just
Yeah.
on Wednesday. So 11 more.
Hmm.
Do you anticipate a need this year for additional money spent for ebooks and audiobooks, given how long the pandemic is lasting?
We did increase our budget. We sort of moved some money around and focused on digital content. So, we're a little bit higher than we were last year. Of course, it is the highest circulating library within Delaware County. It's super popular. There's, always going to be a wait for an overdrive ebook. We do have Hoopla now, which are no wait titles. So, hundreds, thousands of people can download the same book at the same time. But, it's just the format is so popular within Delaware County that, I don't know how much money we would need.
We could spend our whole budget and
our whole budget just on ebooks. But we are certainly trying. I mean, our vendor, which is Overdrive, has created a different model where they charge us per circulation instead of by title. So Annie has been really smart about channeling funds that way so that we get charged when you download the book rather than buying the book and then have to wait for it. So she tries to do that with our really popular titles. We have several libraries within Delaware County that have their own ebook accounts, and they have been generous with sharing their collection with across the county. So that has helped somewhat, but there's always going to be a demand that we can't meet people's needs instant gratification wise type thing. Yeah.
But I would encourage you to check out Hoopla. I know that there are some titles that I've looked at recently on Overdrive that have had a long wait, and they're available on Hoopla. So we've been trying to get the word out about that. It's not always the like hot new bestseller on Hoopla, but you can find a lot of great titles there as well.
Okay, if there's no further questions, we're going to turn it back to Mary Ann. We're on number 9.
Yes, for public comments. I don't know whether we had any or.
I did have a few libraries that had reached out to me prior to the meeting, so I'd like to share those comments. The first is from the J. Lewis Crozier Library. The Crozier Library is working with the Chester Board of Health and 2 other healthcare organizations on a comprehensive set of programs related to the coronavirus. The programs include the library serving as a site landmark for drive-up coronavirus testing and a series of webinars on the nature of the virus, mental health issues, and the vaccine. Crozier is in discussion regarding the potential for serving as a vaccine site. The Aston Public Library, their trustee, Glenda Carroll, reached out and she wanted to share that on Tuesdays, they have music with Miss Jill via Zoom. It's a lively interactive music program for toddlers through kindergarten. Online programs with Miss Debbie include story times for kids and crafts for adults. And curbside pickup hours have expanded to include 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Mondays. Their curbside service is now available 6 days a week. The Upper Darby Libraries, a message from their trustee, Cynthia Wilson. Upper Darby Township and Sellers Memorial Library are happy to have a complete board with the addition of 3 new board members. They are Gina Amoroso, John Mullen, and Curry Robinson. And they are also grateful that the capital request was approved for the new Sellers House and foyer roofs. And I'd also like to introduce a guest that we have on our Zoom. It's Nancy Davis. She is the president of the Library Foundation of Delaware County. And I am going to turn it over to her. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you, Kathy. And thanks everybody for giving me a little bit of your time so that I can update you on what is happening with the Library Foundation of Delaware County. I don't know how familiar all of you are with it, but our goal is to support public libraries in the county as they try to expand or improve services to residents. And one of the other things we can do for you is that we are in a sort of neutral position where we can advocate in some circumstances. And we have some people with some very useful connections. Oversight is provided by an all-volunteer board. A couple of updates. We just signed an agreement with the Foundation for Delaware County for management services. One of the things we didn't have was the bench strength to do the kind of networking and outreach that is necessary to continue to build the foundation. We are also considering the possibility of hiring a part-time employee to increase visibility and contacts. To date, we have helped smaller libraries upgrade their technology. Ironically, we funded a strategic plan for the further development of the foundation. We provided funds for the Popular Museum Pass program, and we'll be doing it again this year. We funded the mobile fingerprinting initiative for employees who work with children and have to be screened. And we paid for personal protection gear for employees. We were going to this year fund a all-day in-service for all county library employees. But because of COVID, we weren't able to do that program, but we are committed once again to doing that for the system. The other thing you might want to know is that we're beginning to explore the possibility of a no-interest loan program for libraries that want to do modest scale service programming or facilities improvement. People would submit grant applications to us, which we would evaluate. This is not for huge projects, but for small libraries, it's probably the difference between them being able to do an improvement or not do it. So that's one of the other things that we're looking at. There are 2 ways that the board of directors could be helpful to us. One is that we are looking to expand the size of the board. When you're essentially a fundraising board, you can have more people on it than a board that actually provides oversight or governance. So if you had suggestions for us of trustees who were particularly effective, people that your library is connected with that you think would be an asset to the foundation, we love getting those recommendations. The other thing is you all are close to what is going on in the individual libraries. And if you have suggestions for programs or services that we could fund that would benefit, we like to think it's all libraries will benefit from what we do, not a single library, and that it's good for a wide range of residents in the county. And we welcome those suggestions. So that's where we are. The Library Foundation has had a sort of long, torturous history because of economic ups and downs, leadership changes. But I think we're geared to go now. We've got some good people on the board, and we've been able to do some good things with Kathy over the last couple of years. So I welcome any questions. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Nancy. Is there any questions or comments on anything that Nancy shared or any of the public comments?
I'd just like to thank Nancy because it certainly is, helping small libraries and gives them the opportunity to do small projects that they need to do. So appreciate, what the foundation is doing.
If we think of people that we might be interested in being on your board, should we send the suggestions to Kathy Biddle? And she
If
can...
you do, Kathy regularly forwards information to me. The one thing I would want to assure you about is that our goal would never be to in any way poach on a relationship, a donor relationship that an individual library has with somebody they have an established relationship with. We are looking at other foundations. We're looking at corporate sponsorships, so that I wouldn't want any of the libraries or library boards to feel in any way threatened by what we do. That is not our goal, to make life harder for you. We're trying to attract sponsors or funders who want to do things for all the libraries. We're looking for things that are relevant throughout the system.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, if there are none further, thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. No more public comments, or we're done?
Yes, that was it.
Okay, so I would like someone to make a motion to adjourn. Oh, let me go over these dates first before we do that. Our next dates would be April 1st, June 3rd, August 5th, October 7th, and December 2nd. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So what are we doing with the April meeting, Kathy? Do we know yet?
We're going to meet here on Zoom.
Okay, so we're not changing that until we get some more information. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, I'd like to thank our guest tonight for speaking and our new officers. And I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I guess the motion carries. See you in April.
April
on
1st,
Zoom.
April Fool's Day.
Oh my gosh.
Bye all.
Good night.
Take care.